Okay.
And I think that we're underestimating their Timber player, whoever he is. We've never seen Ehome. I think there's a reason that they're last picking that instead of like you think Jiawei doesn't know about Medusa. Like I think they'll take this.
All right. Okay. 2 for OG and 1 for Ehome on our panel.
Why did I go
a couple of Jiawei haters here on the panel. Deltas, are we going to find a couple more in the commentary booth?
I'm very uncertain.
Oh, yeah.
You can go first.
Why, thank you, Cinderin. You're so generous, Cinderin. It's hard to go against the Drow Ranger. I think I like the aura lineup of OG a little bit too much. I think they have enough to deal through any kind of immunity as well. And if Seb gets early Necrobook, I'm going OG.
Let's just get through this, right? OG. You're a Drow fan, you've picked OG. We already knew that. Cinderin,
Ehome.
Good. Okay, Ehome for him. Right, gents, take it away. All right. Number 1.
I can talk a little bit more about Ehome now.
Okay.
He wanted to get out of the shot.
Oh, that's what it is. That's right. Red's got his afternoon pills to have.
Okay, so to expand a little bit, I think this draft is actually really interesting because both teams are good at different things, and there's no like clear winner for me. But I think this last pick Timbersaw is really good in this game. The panel talked about how Drow marksmanship can deal with it somewhat. I just don't think it's enough. I feel like the Timbersaw, when he gets a couple of items, will reach not the same stage that we saw last game where it was totally ridiculous minute 10, but pretty quickly this Timbersaw can become a big problem.
Yeah,
and
that's what I wanted, like, if it's to start from Seb, which is the better thing, because isn't he meant to be the bigger counter? If you can get the Necrobooks up, if you can start burning off the mana, if you can cause some problems for the Timber.
Yeah, I don't think Beastmaster can go Necrobook this game, though. I think he has to buy the Vlads for the team. I don't think anyone else is going to afford it, unless they put it on the safe lane carry Venge. There's going to be a kill on Innocence here.
2 stuns available. ILTV and Notel working together. A double stun lineup, but the VS is the core in this situation as well.
Yep. And one more point I wanted to make. OG, for once, arguably have the weaker team fight, actually. And the way they've been playing their games a lot in general, not just in this tournament, they've been very focused around winning those mid-late game team fights, and I think Ehome come in with a mindset that they want to be able to match or even beat OG at that kind of game. And I see, this is one great teamfight ability on OG's side, the Winter's Curse, but it's pretty hard to use in this game. Like, who do you actually curse? Cursing Timbersaw sucks.
Yeah.
Cursing Void is also bad because nobody's going to kill him.
It's like you gotta curse the supports. Like you want to keep with the light out of the pool. ET will be too tanky for it, so it's tiny. If
Caudle gets cursed next to his cores, he's out of position. Like that's just flat out a misplay then, which, well, obviously there will be situations where you're out of position, you make mistakes, everybody does, but it's a less likely scenario to arise than...
Man, they're really trying to beat into that Elder Titan. He's pushing the distance of this. He copped both the Magic Missile as well as the Storm Bolt and still thought he could survive through it.
I think he died on purpose in the end.
Just heavy damage into the safe laners?
It's just, he either has to die there or run all the way to the enemy tier 2 to suicide because he was out of juice. He didn't have any regen left. Nothing really to speak of, at least. His pool is empty, so...
God, Seb is not a healthy man up on top. He's copping so many of these blasts from Innocence. He doesn't have a lot of life to work with. I'm also interested to see why OG did this. We showed it on the camera for a small bit, but that rune's been sitting at the top for 2 minutes. I don't know if this is meant to be extra efficiency from the rune, or Jirax just forgot it. He'll
bounty.
He'll actually get the bounty now.
I'm not sure. They kind of know they have control over it, so I guess they just want to take it when it's convenient, but...
It's a good rotation as well. He's actually going to take the regen rune from the top, which denies it to the mid ASD.
Yep.
And then quickly TPs down to bottom lane. So they're changing up their lanes a bit. Need some range harass against the 2 melees.
I just think this top lane, it's really boring to be Wyvern in. You can't really pressure the Timber. The matchup for him is way too good against Beastmaster, and he knows that when Timber reaches level 3, the lane's just over. Like, they can't solve this with that hero at all.
Yeah.
So I think they might just flat out try lane and be like, good luck, Seb, you're on your own, because none of our supports can win this lane for you, or even pressure in it. And that might have been the logic, because I was wondering why don't Ehome put the Timbersaw mid, when once Timber's level 3, Drow doesn't do anything.
They're finally going on bottom. Jirax is waiting for it, even with the Dire Observer Ward in the lane. They were unable to react in time to OG's aggression. The double stuns just hold you in position for so long. Meanwhile, Thompson actually gets solo killed by ASD. The Tiny hits the combination and the tree. And Drow Ranger hates heroes who can close that distance.
That's a big kill. That's the one upside to having Tiny mid against her compared to the Timber is that the kill potential is definitely a lot higher. It's easier to gank for him, and maybe you even get a solo kill like this time. But for sure, Timber would be having a great time mid as well. Get level 3, you can't die to Drow, you can totally free farm, but this way they shut down the Beastmaster. And I think in this patch, I think considering Beastmaster just flat out a true core is a pretty good way of thinking about it. This hero scales and gets really strong really fast, and this way they're limiting him very well.
Yeah.
So.
But is there kind of a counter to that in a way? Like, okay, we see Faith Beyond being pushed away, but it's the fact that Vengeful Spirit comes online a lot earlier than probably most of the 1 positions. This is where you change the balance up, especially with the buff up from Thompson. Man, these battles go from mid to down to the bottom room. Everyone's contesting for everything.
Jerax is actually potentially in trouble here if they can connect over with Void. He doesn't have an Arctic Burn for 30 seconds, obviously really long cooldown on that. Yeah, I think he's dead.
Yeah, T-Stomp's going to connect and say goodbye.
Good dash. 10% now. Don't think it mattered though. But it's the mental damage.
It's like No-Tell's actually been brought to mid to try and get some space at Thompson. So here's your first secondary TP. Going to arrive from Jerax. He does not have the Arctic Burn available, just a Splinter Blast. So it's going to buy time to keep his light to TP in. Plus the ET in from behind gets the double stomp out. The Gust pushing them back. A 3-man silence. And now ET too far underneath the tower. That was not your destiny, but the toss was just as good. Finding Thompson under the tier 1 tower. Totally revealed thanks to the fact that he was attacking, but this all happens around the 5-minute mark. So, ILTV, well, he doesn't actually stop the rune from being taken, but he'll battle Faith Beyond, who jumped in really close with the Time Walk. So he has to take the damage, he's burned his tick charges, and that's a long walk back for the Faceless Void, but it looks like he's going to stick around instead. He'll push the limit, while Ego will do the same against Seb. Never let this Beastmaster have any space, even under his own tower.
This is one of Beastmaster's worst matchups in all of Dota. You can't pressure the Timbersaw with the boards because he just gets armor and doesn't care.
It's happening again in mid. Just the Spirit Stomp. Thompson just couldn't walk away from it, and the never-ending avalanche connections means that Thompson just has no way to create the space that he needs to survive.
Yep. This early game for Ehome is going very well. They're 1k gold ahead. The big farmer, so to speak, on OG is the Vengeful Spirit, but it's not really the 1 position of the game. So the 1 position is Thompson's Drow, who needs to eventually deal the damage and get the kills for them, especially against this Timbersaw. So Venge being this farm is actually not really a concern. I think Ehome's game plan is coming along very nicely here. Even finding it now with double damage on Tiny might give them even a 3rd kill. Oh, actually that would be a 4th kill onto Thompson if he finds this one. So they kind of need to start bringing in protection for this Drow Ranger, and it just means once again, like, Seb is actually doing very well given the circumstances, being level 5. I think he should be very happy with that. But it also means that Ehome are getting away with an off-lane Void, which generally in this patch is pretty weak. But, you know, their other lanes are so strong that they can distribute resources the way they want.
I really don't know about this fight in mid. You've still got the ET sitting behind. The Splinter Blast won't connect. Now the Stomp and Avalanche will. But that's a double damage Tiny. He actually backed off for a second. We'll throw the tree and the ET in. Stuns out from the Vengeful Spirit. Wave of Terror will remove the armor. So Jerax and Thompson have a chance to find some extra kills, but it's a support for a support. The ET, I say support for support. ET for support for core.
Yeah.
ET for the VS.
I still think that could have gone better for Ehome. I think Tiny was a little bit too cautious in this situation, showing a bit too much respect.
Seb, maybe, Seb is in fact dead. There's no way to run away, even with a double ball slow.
That lane's unplayable, actually, no. Timber's level 7 in a second. They're going to send Venge up there. Venge isn't going to have fun either. This is a problem. This was the Timbersaw last pick we talked about. What do you do?
Especially when Timber gets another one. Like, you send 2 heroes up and one of them dies.
They can't deal with him. And I think OG are in serious trouble already.
They've actually lost Vengeful Spirit as well. There's no dire vision up there, it's just the slow. There's no way to escape when you got Tiny rotating in from the side. TP's coming in from the Wyvern, but yeah, you want to cancel that. There's no way to survive in that lane, so now it's Void versus Beastmaster on bottom. That's nicer, but the core that had the farm just feeds his life up on the top. That net worth disparity between the cores is huge.
I think that was actually survivable for the Venge. Could have swapped the Tiny that ran under the tower vision and maybe got out, but Ultivi didn't go for it. Got killed off, and OG are in this awkward position now where there's actually nowhere that it feels that they can make a move. They can't really kill this Void until Beastmaster's level 6, perhaps with like a big rotation with Gust, but they don't want to bring the Drow. They absolutely cannot kill the Timbersaw, no way. And the tiny mid is also really tanky, 12 armor and 1500 health. Their heroes just don't have the output. And this time, OG is not really going to come back through superior mid-game teamfight, at least not in terms of draft. They need to out-execute.
And how do you do that? Ehome's already invading the OG jungle. Good defensive observer and sentry wards will let them know about the heavy rotations, but top lane is totally abandoned from both teams. Which means attention turns elsewhere. Topson goes jungle now, he's got his level 6. And swap, well, they want to go for the kill over on Tiny. Follow-up stun is available. Need to keep that damage coming in, but the ET stop. Topson knows he cannot be caught by this Chronosphere. There's not enough mana. Actually, he does if he uses the 6-stick charges, but with a quick silence, Faith Beyond, he's still holding those charges. No-Tail knows he's dead. The toss up and then the swap down. No-Tail will survive, actually destroying the damage, which means the magic missile hits into Innocence. They'll find the kill. The ET Spirit still sitting on top, and they're a little concerned as the stomp is arriving, but the roar from Seb will cancel it. Avalanche creating some level of space, but down goes the ET. Vengeful Spirit with the double kill. You asked them to out-execute. That kind of feels like that happened, even though Timbersaw was not involved.
Yeah, OG made a lot out of what they had there. That was pretty much the perfect outcome in that situation, but they did have to rotate 5 heroes. Timbersaw's free farming, he's pushing out bottom, and all they got was 2 support kills, which it's nice because they didn't lose, for example, their Sven or maybe even a secondary hero, and they probably had to bring absolutely everybody that they did to get this outcome. So in a way it feels like over-rotation to bring 5, but what would have happened if they didn't? They kind of needed all of this. It's kind of just showing what state the game is in, that OG need this much rotation to make their move successful.
Man, they're really just trying to nail into Topson. That Dire Observer was in such a great position. Seeing where he farms, hiding in trees on bottom lane won't work when the Timbersaw's there. But top lane was being pressured in by the VS. Beastmaster is continuing the pressure. But Ehome has so much information, even another Dire Observer would around the side shop. Let's have a look at this fight once again. So you pull him in, you get the initial stuns.
Even though this Stomp doesn't look too good from Mellow Titan, it zones off the Drow, so they can't really pursue the Tiny. He's going to start bottling up. At any point right now, Faith Beyond can use the Chrono to kill the Sven or the Venge that swaps in, but he's saving it for what he's anticipating will be a bigger teamfight play. And it is coming now, but now Caudle is dead and they're kind of on the back foot, so full-on disengage mode. And they don't get any more. Oh, Seb is in trouble.
Yeah, we're back to live. And swap
nice
away,
drop.
Seb on 17 HP. He'll give the roar out. That one attack is not enough from the Keeper of the Light to find the kill. Timber, he ain't done yet. He's looking for any kind of opening. Another quick blast. The amount of times that Luna has hit Seb is unbelievable. Maybe up on the top. He's trying to save him. The Vengeful Spirit's got a lot of damage into Faith Beyond. He's still got time book to get away, but he puts himself inside the Chronosphere, which went to Wyvern, was clipped on the edge. They'll pull him back in. The Phalanx is down, and the Stormbolt, well, it does fly from No-Tail. The kill on the Faceless Boy, but hello! Timbersaw has managed to arrive, and everyone from OG wants to get the hell out of there.
So a 3-for-1. At the very least for OG, they got the Void kill. But again, a good fight from Ehome. They're taking a lot of advantage of this Tiny, just having a really good game. He's in a perfect timing for his early Shadow Blade now that he even has. And this is a hero that you hate playing Wyvern against. Wyvern wants to play against physical damage cores, both for the sake of the Curse and for the sake of the Cold Embrace, but this Tiny combo just flat out kills the Wyvern itself, or this Drow. Even the Beastmaster needs to be careful. Like, sure, you've got a Vlads and some armor, but this damage from Tiny is no joke. So it's hard to use Cold Embrace and Curse in this game. I just think the Wyvern pick doesn't really solve many problems in my mind.
Easy Shadow Blade walk-up kill. OG feels so safe underneath their own Observer and Sentry, but this Dire Observer Ward just sees way too much. No-Tail pops the war. No, just to get back underneath the tower. It's level 4, but Timbersaw doesn't care about towers. That's a level 4 reactive army. He's got all the life in the world. He'll come underneath the tier 3 towers. No TP support because they're busy in mid, attacking in towards the Tiny and the Elder Titan.
Big kill.
So they're able to find 2 while Ego is being distracted. No-Tail is just shooting this out. He can trigger the war cry again, but they cut him down. Still no TPs coming in. They know they can't kill him, so instead they just go for the tier 1 tower in mid. And now Timber, well, he'll come into this fight. The boards are doing their work. ILTV stayed around a little bit longer, so they'll be able to kill off Innocence. The Timber Chain unable to do the damage into the Vengeful Spirit that he wanted to, and that's 3 heroes and a tier 1 tower going down.
That was sloppy from Innocence. He had Blinding Light the whole time, just walks up to Venge, gets stunned, and gets killed when he was in Blinding Light range the whole time. Probably overestimated the cast range of this spell, wanted to knock the Venge into the tower, but any blinding light just upward would have been enough to set up his Timber and save the tower. So OG gonna be very happy with this.
Smart from Jirax. He put down the sentry ward, saw the Tiny coming in, so he had a chance to react, but it's still not enough. ASD will still find the kill. Faith Beyond's going to arrive. Time walk forward. Chrono's off cooldown in 2 seconds time. Seb back underneath the tower.
Nice
VS is nearby. He's got the swap available. Seb, he has nowhere to really survive this, and there's nothing that ILTV can really do to help him.
They're doing a pretty good job staying afloat, honestly, OG right now. I thought this game was going to snowball more, but they've kind of managed to stabilize in the last 5 minutes on the gold graph.
It created a lot of space for Tops, and he's back to the top net worth of OG.
Yeah, he's catching up. It's still not looking great by any means, but if they hadn't made these couple of key moves that they've done in the last 2 to 3 minutes, this could have almost been closing in on as much as a 10k gold lead.
Yeah.
Because if OG don't take initiative and make moves, they will get overwhelmed. They have to play aggressive even though they're struggling, because Ehome can just pile on top of them with his Timber Saw and they will win every fight.
They're looking to fight again. Tiny is in range. Timber's the closest one now in range.
I can't go.
And yeah, they don't want a piece of this at all. But you do have that Wyvern ulti. You got the curse available. So if Ehome want to get into the fight, it looks like they're a little bit more up for doing it, or at least protecting Top's farm area. It feels really weird to watch this Drow Ranger, by the way, because it just feels like a Warcraft 3 ability has returned.
Yeah.
In the like you had the 1 in 3 chance, now it's a 20% chance. But when you're going up against Ancients, you just get that 1 arrow. You could transition through the jungle a lot faster as a Drow Ranger. So this kind of space that they're giving is a lot more useful.
Yeah, a Drow that's left unchecked will be one of the fastest farmers in the game right now. It farms super fast, and it kind of feels, you know, it in a way is a bit reminiscent of old Alchemist, where if you don't contest this guy, he's just going to farm stacks and farm Ancients super fast and get filthy rich. Obviously, he doesn't get bonus gold, but a Drow that's playing from ahead will stay ahead. But he got shut down so hard that catching up is still going to take a while. And being even on net worth as Drow with these Timbersaw tiny heroes, you just don't feel the same presence in fights just yet. Thompson needs a lot of time.
He's actually going for a Blink Dagger as well, looking to try and reposition in fights.
Blink in, Gust, key hero like the Void into his team.
Seb can't get the TP off in time. The Spirit Stomp was able to find him. And that is one very dead Beastmaster. I was just wondering if it changed the build into like an earlier Shadowblade Silver Edge, just up against the Timber.
For Beastmaster?
No, for Drow. For Drow. Instead of going for the Blink Dagger. Like, I can understand his desire to reposition when the Faceless Void is looking to jump you. Blink Dagger is terrific against this.
I think the problem with going Silver Edge in this game is you can't really go in on the Timber. If he has the reactive, I'm here. Curse.
No, you can't TP underneath the ball.
Nope. So if you use the Silver Edge to go in on the Timber, if he already has reactive armor running, you're not going to kill him anyway. And if you do break him before the armor stacks start stacking up, well, you're a Drow, and if you walk in with that Shadowblade or Silver Edge and you open on the Timber, you expose yourself to just getting jumped by Tiny or Void or Elder Titan Stomp. So I think Drow actually just can't play like that in this game. He has to really keep her distance, play backline, and wait for the right moment. That's what the Dagger is good for. So I kind of like this read.
That's when you almost question then the VS's build, because the VS is literally the same build apart from just being one Wraith Band behind at the moment. Like he's holding onto the smoke because they want to try and fight, but they may just have the chance to fight right now in the mid lane. I say the chance. Have they got enough to get through the Timbersaw? The ET Stomp is out, but 7 knows how. They've got around the back. Timbersaw able to chain himself out of it. And this is not the fight they were looking for. Not to mention Tiny's in the back line. Thompson took a lot of damage, but not enough to kill him. Maybe Ego can finish that job. Finally, the Tiny will fall. Thompson swapped up and away from the fight. He couldn't stay on top of him and swap again. You just get interrupted. The Chrono is huge. Same with the Collar Blast right over the top of him. And a secondary one. That one won't do as much damage. The ET splitter. ILTV couldn't get away in time, but they are now on the chase. OG. They smell blood in the water. The Stomp. It will not create enough space from Destiny. He runs down, but the damage from the VS is so high, they'll curse up the Keeper of the Light just to hold him in position so they can finish the job. 4 heroes down from Ehome, and the positional play from OG is superb. They'll cap it off with a celebratory Roshan.
Yeah, they just flat out outplayed them in that fight. It looked like it was going to be terrible for OG after they opened on the Timbersaw, but I want to highlight one little juke Thompson did. Like, these small things make such a big difference. He dodged the last Chakram that Timber threw toward him. If that Chakram hits, Drow dies and Timber continues the fight. Instead, he jukes. We're going to see it here. So keep an eye on Ego here. He gets jumped first. This is a really good 4-staff play from the Caudal into the Blinding Light. So great start off from Innocence. He doesn't have the Ignis, though. He used it bottom earlier against the Wyvern. And now keep an eye out for this Drow right now. You're going to see the Timber come in from the top right. Chakram is going to land, just barely jukes it off. Survives with 1 health. Gets swapped off. And this is important. If Drow doesn't stay alive here, they probably don't kill off this Timber Saw, or at least they would have traded. And if Timber is alive in this chrono, it's a team wipe. So these small things add up. Perfect heal as well here from JRX on No Tail, keeping him alive in the chrono. Just really beautiful teamwork from OG in this engagement. They're just making so many small things, doing them right, this move.
Shortly after they took Roshan, and we saw it in the small screen, the Keeper of the Light was picked off in the mid, and OG are already on the hunt. They actually trigger the dust on the Tiny, but he is too far to the right, and they did not see it. We are in nighttime vision for another minute, but it won't stop OG from pushing the issue. They have the Aegis, the Immortal. They feel confident. They take the tier 2 tower on top, and then they move towards the middle lane. They want as many of these towers gone as possible. Curse is out, just holding the Faceless Void in possession, and now he jumps away. Maybe with this big blown ability, they won't want to go for more chronos on cooldown for 16 seconds, but this top lane, they're pushing in. This fight is happening against No Tail and mid. The Cold Embrace making it difficult to fight, but the tier 3 tower is being brought down by Seth and ILTV. They need to go back to defend this. Ehome, the jump now, Thompson's looking to try and defend with a quick blink away. They take the range racks. The Ball of Light never walk towards the light if you're OG, but they have no other choice. The 2 heroes will probably die up on top. Seb is just out of range, and it will in fact be ILTV going down. They still take the range racks. We are 20 minutes into this game. OG were on the ropes, and they've managed to claim the range racks. And what's the cost worth it?
They still have the Aegis. I think that was great for OG. Tier 3 and range tracks, they lost 1 core only because Beastmaster somehow got out of that, and now he has Necro 3. We were talking about it earlier, is he going to get it or not? He ended up getting it because they got so much influx of gold in the last few minutes that Seb is actually having a game. After a very hard laning stage, he has recovered fully.
You're getting that. You're getting a Hurricane Pike build onto the Drow Ranger. She has it completed. It needs to come on the Courier. You have Vengeful Spirit who build a Shadow Blade, so initiation. But there's your Silver Edge carrier against the Timbersaw.
I don't know if he wants the silver.
He's got it queued up. Actually, well, okay, he did have it queued up, and now he's got a BKB queued up.
Yeah. I think BKB is the item against Ehome this game. The only thing they have outside of spells, really, is the Void, and he's not going to kill in Chrono. So BKB is very strong. OG have just fully recovered. The challenge for Ehome now is to set up a fight where they get to frontline with Timber and he doesn't die or get pressured too hard in the beginning, because now the damage from OG is actually there.
Yep.
Beforehand, they couldn't really kill him. His Vanguard is starting to fall off now. He has a Bloodstone heal, which is great, but he needs to not be locked down in order to cast it. And he needs his team to protect him. I still think this coming fight is definitely doable for Ehome, but they gotta be very, very cautious with how they place their heroes when they go in.
Yep. Well, Thompson's adding more pressure to bottom lane. He's already taken the tier 1 tower. They just add more and more aggression. ILTV's thinking about the initiation. Stormbolt out to begin with. They'll swap him back over right in the Necrobooks. And the stun, cancelling the Timber Chain. He's got the one charge. Actually, the Bloodstone also been
great
tipped over the corner. Catching 3 in the back line, but then the ET stun. Is it going to be enough? They're all coming into the light with the curve. Tiny is also controlled, but the Vengeful Spirit is finally brought down. This is the fight you wanted for Ehome. One where Timber is alive. Seb will TP up and no, the stun. Faceless Void's going to bash him. It's a blink from Thompson. Begins his own TP. He'll be able to survive. Seb will not be so lucky. Maybe OG pushed a little bit too hard. They do obviously get out with the Drow range up, and the amount of damage to the outside, just under this Aegis the Immortal, they've claimed every outer tower apart from the tier 2 and mid. So is the map control then the worth it quality for that push?
That was such a beautiful spellcasting fight from Ehome. 3-man Chrono, 4-man Ignis. I think the Elder Titan Splinter, his, what's it called? Earth Splitter? Wow, I call it Splinter Blast in my head. No, that's on the other team. Just look at the spell combination. 3-man Chrono, double Chakram. The Splitter comes down and hits 2. Timber connects through. 4-man Ignis that keeps running. They curse this Tiny because they're scared and they have to try to reset, but they're caught in another 2-man Stomp. And going into this game, we're talking about Ehome's big teamfight combo. There it is, if everything lands.
Yep.
Love, by the way, from Ego. The moment he got swapped from bench, instantly used Bloodstone. I think a lot of players in this situation, you try to save your Bloodstone until you're lower, getting that heal. He knows he just needs to stay alive through the initial burst and be healthy, and then they can take the fight. So great reaction from Ehome in that instance. And both teams are... You know, you could argue OG probably shouldn't have gone there.
But look at OG coming now. Like, they understand, like, that Bloodstone's on cooldown for a very long time. That's the downside about using the Bloodstone charge. There's no Chronosphere for another 25 seconds, and they know that window of opportunity. Push the final outer tower. Is somebody going to expose themselves? Thompson's just hitting from inside the trees, but Ehome knows, one, he's got Blink Dagger, and two, he's probably got a huge team that's behind him waiting for Winter's Curse. But 10 seconds till Chronosphere. Watch that countdown time.
Yeah, they're already smoked up, ready for it. There's now a Crimson Guard on the Timbersaw, so not only is he tanky now, he's going to help his team out a lot in terms of surviving this Necro book. All of the right clicks from Zhao and Bench. Great curse, instant auto kill.
Goodbye to the Coddle, so you got no ball of light anymore. He does not have buyback available, but Jirax lost his own life. Fourth, there's some Faith Beyond. It's a good Chronosphere. Both Beastmaster and Vengeful Spirit caught inside of it, but Timbersaw can he get Chronosphere? The job set, still got the Roar off in time, allowing the Vengeful Spirit more space to continue this fight, but the better space. ET Stomp and No Tail and Thompson caught napping as Ego can get back to the tower. They get the Cold Arrow hit into the Elder Titan. Can they keep the push going? Able to get a gust off. But ET up to the hillside. No Tail has to go for the instant Storm Bolt. Control up the Timbersaw. Keep him down. Move the Necro Books a little bit closer. No Tail's Warcry is giving him the movement speed just to get back and around the tier 2 tower. While as Thompson blinking up on the hill, chasing down the ET with the gust. The Timbersaw slowed up. The Necro Books are back, and is brought down 70 seconds without buyback available. OG know how big it is. Said definitely does. Tip that man some gold.
Another fight. They're just again. It's the mobility. They're outplaying them. They're outmaneuvering them on movement. The Drow Dagger, the Sven Warcry movement speed keeps dodging these chakra from the Timbersaw or the last Timber Chain. These small things, just the fancy footwork. You know, it goes a long way. You can dodge some of the spells in these fights, and I think the opening curse is crucial. Killing off the Coddle is a really, really big kill. You kill him straight up. Even if Jerax had to trade his life for it, he was the one with the buyback, came back into the fight, and they need this Ignis in the fight. Coddle not being able to do anything is a very big loss for them. You're going to see here, No Tail. It looks to be in a lot of trouble now. Here they're going to dodge. First of all, they're going to dodge this Stomp with Thompson, so now he can blink up in a second and reset onto the Elder Titan.
It's almost funny because the Timber actually started chasing No Tail, thinking he had a guaranteed kill.
Yeah.
Like, he came in without triggering off the Warcry, and it turns the Timber around so he couldn't even be involved when the jump came from OG. By the way, Silver Edge did get completed as well onto
so they do have it now. Yep. If they get it as the opener on Timber and there's no counterplay immediately available, they could burst him. But I think the idea, or the choice rather, of putting that on Venge instead of Drow is very important. I think if Drow would have gone for it, you already saw how much this Blink has done in this game for Thompson. So if he would have gone for that, I think they would have lost these fights, just hands down. So
I agree.
Putting the item on Venge is good, and maybe they're going to try to look for another opening here on Ego. Thompson's poking a little bit, literally poking. No damage whatsoever.
I like this item build as well from Faith Beyond. He's gone for the Manta stance. Now it's not as easy just to gust him up, but it may just force Seb to roar and keep him out of the play.
I think Coddle won't make the same mistake twice. This is another thing to keep in mind. This whole team fight for OG going so well really comes down to Coddle being dead and not having buyback. Now he's going to play more cautiously with his positioning.
A quick dodge away from both the Storm Bolt and the Avalanche.
So nothing happens here, really.
Yes.
Timber is trying to feel out the area. OG have really good vision here. ASD running in. The sentry is going to fall short, but ILT...
The Silver Edge just wore off as well, but yeah, they see ILTV over in the tree lines. They're committing everything. Even the Earth Splitter's coming out. Get rid of the vision, force them back.
Yeah, they place that high ground ward themselves, and oh, there's a Chrono. They're going to find a secondary.
Found a better target. Beastmaster as well into the mid lane. He'll go down, 53 seconds down. Keep in mind that Roshan spawns up in 40 seconds, and Ehome, the potential spawn time is already there. The Hawks from OG are watching.
OG will probably get this Roche, because there's no Chrono now.
That is true. I think unless Ehome can bring it down quickly, but then they've only got like a 15-second window.
The heroes don't kill Roche. Their lineup is really bad at that. So that's not going to happen. They want to try to take a team fight around Roche and steal it from OG, but if OG goes straight away when they spawn, they can't take this fight, I think. No other splitter, no chrono.
I love this bench copy. ILTV, you're dead, but you're not really dead.
Yeah.
He's been taking the creep wave on top and pushing it back in. Attack the racks, at least get the notification sound to pop into Ehome. Your base is under attack.
It's generally a good idea to kill off that illusion when you kill the Venge too. Just get rid of it. It's annoying.
Great Observer and Sentry once again sees so much. They got the curses out on the Keeper of the Light. They're grouped up for a double Son of No-Tell. Ego wants to come over to help out, but be careful. There is a Silver Edge Vengeful Spirit on the hunt, and both your supports are dead. Take Roshan, give Thompson a DD route, and then easily take Roshan.
There's no way they contest this. I think maybe this might sound weird, but maybe this is lucky for Ehome that their supports actually died, because I think they might have baited themselves into trying to fight here, and it could have gone even worse. If there was a full-on team fight breaking out here, I think they would have lost the whole game. So at least now they're in a position where they can defend in 20 seconds when these heroes spawn and try to hold their base, void chrono in 30. And we saw last time OG had Aegis, it wasn't exactly easy when you go into enemy territory.
Look at Thompson though, he doesn't care. Blinks high ground, totally blind. The Hawk is now in position, rather deep inside the Ehome base, so Keeper of the Light and ET will respawn. Keep in mind that top range rack has gone down, not to mention No-Tell. He was adding pressure up there. They've come outside the base, look for that chrono. 7 seconds till it's up. Jirax's defensive Duel Scepter buys himself a little bit of time, toss up towards the air. He'll die on impact on the ground, and do they just let the Chronosphere go? Yeah, you do. Revealing the Vengeful Spirit, no way to hide. He has cheese available, but does he have the time when the chrono wears off? Will he want to consume it? He does not. They hold it back. They almost claim the range racks in mid. That is the permanent damage that is applied.
I don't know if OG needed to try to be that cute with the Sven top at the same time.
And also the Sven buyback. He bought back at the end of that too.
Yeah, it's understandable though. I think OG felt strong and that they could go and push for this, but then when Jerax also got caught afterwards, by the way, he has a very interesting item of this game on the Wyvern. You don't see this. Don't try this in your pubs, guys. It's not.
Jules and Shadowblade?
It's... don't buy these items. Not because they're bad, but because you don't know what they're good. This is a very unusual build for Wyvern.
Seb's in trouble. They're chasing him once again. I think he's wondering if he pops the Necro books out, get caught by the Stomp and into the ET splitter. No-Tell wants to help him out, but there's no helping that Beastmaster. They're still running back in. It's a double stun, but everyone needs to retreat back out of this. No-Tell will now pop the war cry. Tries to dodge the avalanche and the stomp, at least dodges half the avalanche and the stomp, and surviving with one charges. It is just wasting time of Ehome, but he is dead, and that's a dieback on the Sven, so a decent amount of time down.
They are hemorrhaging kills. OG are getting sloppy. They've actually just kind of fed multiple kills away, and these kills, there's been kills earlier in the game where it's like you die but you apply pressure, but these last couple of kills, they haven't really yielded anything on the map, and now Ehome, is Roshan just a curse? Is it like, oh, we got Aegis and cheese, let's go, and it's this false feeling of safety? Because OG kind of tried to take team fights, but still not really, right?
But they're taking it with the heroes who, well, don't have the Aegis and the cheese. Like the Aegis Immortal is in the hands of the Drow and she's up on top trying to finish up the Butterfly.
Yeah. Actually, oh, wait a second, Jerax, Shadowblading up. Going to talk about his items in a moment.
See, this is when the item is good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the reason Jerax has...
I guess you're going to go for this one. Thompson actually TP'd him. He's right on top of the Chakram. They've got the silence on Timbersaw. Tries to use the Manta to dodge the Stomp. It will not happen, but Seb found a better target. The Keeper of the Light up on the hill. They have to go over and help him, but he's keeping the Necrobooks away, trying to actually get the kill into Innocence. ILTV can't find it, but Thompson will around the side. The Curse is out, giving more space for Seb and more damage in the Timber. The Gust is good. Tiny, he's dodging a lot of the damage thanks to the Ghost Scepter, and up goes the Timbersaw, and the Chronosphere catching two, technically threes. ASC's caught in the edge of it, but Thompson, he'll take no damage when the Cold Embrace is holding him close. The jump away from Faith Beyond, he's out of mana, but look at the TP over from Jirax. He does not want to let Faith Beyond get out of here. TP scroll is available, jump up against the TP, and then a quick swap back out into the stun. Void is down for 75 seconds. Who's hemorrhaging now?
Yeah, they're like taking turns at taking these bad fights, honestly. Ehome this time around. Ignis hit 0 heroes for the full duration and just placed it kind of in the middle of nowhere. The Chrono comes in too late, gets 2 heroes, and kind of almost kills his own Tiny. Close to killing there from ASD, just barely.
He didn't even want to stick around for the hit. He knew he has to TP back because here comes the rest of them. Swap in the instant hit. Defensive Yule Center up from the Timber Sword. But now Notel wants to go for the fight. Pull back in. The only one caught by the Earth Splitter as the Illuminate. Jirac just tanks through it, but maybe he can't tank through that. The Winter Wyvern. Defensive Yule Center up once again. Pushed up the side. He'll have to embrace himself if he wants to fight, but it will not happen. Elder Titan with a plus 270 damage. Sure! Just kills off the Wyvern. But range racks guaranteed down. The melee racks take some damage.
They force a Timber buyback. That's a really big one. If Timber dies again, this game is almost lost for OG. They really need this frontliner to stay alive and be able to do the work for them. So
we'll see that
here,
bottom fight again.
So Ego is going to go in and throw off the Chakram here. Gets gusted instantly. The Manta dodge actually failing. But look at this. This is the bigger play. The Caudal almost dies. Actually stays alive with Ghost Scepter. In my mind, this is a good moment for them. But this Ignis is in the middle of nowhere. He could have put
just a panic?
I don't know. He could have put it on top of Seb. Probably forced the fight around that Ignis in that area. And at the very least kill off that core. But the way it ends up going, they kill absolutely nobody. This is a 4-on-5, mind you. Sven isn't even alive. Just getting outplayed. Void is pretty late to the party. This Chrono is not good. They don't really combine with it at all, and now they just need to get the hell out of there. Abort mission. That fight just was not good from Ehome. That's the short version of that. And OG back in a tiny lead. It still feels like this game could honestly go either way. I'll see if I have a bit of time to talk about items. So Tiny went for the E-Blade. It's a great save against the Drow, and of course against Winter's Curse. If he gets an ally curse, he can save him if he's not in it. And the reason Wyvern went for the Shadow Blade, I think he wants to... Yep. Well,
the smoke gank is coming in, a quick blink away from the Beastmaster, but it won't help. Tiny was already there, waiting for him inside the river. Aurora creates some space with the time dilation. The Gust is there, but it only reveals the fact that Thompson was the neighborhood. Beastmaster and Sven both being caught out. Yep. Notel without the buyback available. But Thompson is so maneuverable with both the Hurricane Pike and the Blink Dagger, it's difficult to catch him. But look at the momentum. VS instantly moves towards the mid. Thankfully, there's Sentry Wards to protect the Keeper of the Light, so they know exactly where LTV is.
Oh, he's in trouble now, actually.
He has his own Observer and Sentry, so seeing this, but he's underneath the Dire Observer and Sentry on the hill, which means instant cancel of the TP scroll with the Yule Scepter. He'll BKB, but it's too late. He needs to BKB out while he had his TP. Tries to run. The Silver Edge will allow him to do so.
Oh, they don't have any detection
left. Wyvern is... Wait, where are you going?
Man, they're getting value out of these Shadow Blades, let me tell you. So, I was going to say the reason he's buying Shadow Blade on Wyvern is that the #1 most important thing in this game is that he doesn't get jumped on. He has to stay in the shadows and hide. He could do that with a dagger or the Shadow Blade, and he's opted for the Shadow Blade this time so he can like move more freely against expecting some vision if they want to fight in Ehome's areas of the map, which I think is a pretty creative and good idea here from Jerax. But I feel like they're also getting more value out of these Shadow Blades than they should.
It's allowing them to split push and getting out of jail free cards almost. Like, here's the jump once again. Send him up, instantly into the Shadow Blade. Did anyone bring detection? Is that time when you put a gem on the Timber Sword?
Yeah,
You've just had enough of this?
It really is. You buy a gem.
While this is going on, up on the top lane, the arrows are flying in towards the Tiny Faces. Void jumped in. It's a double chronosphere. Caught the drone, as well as the Beastmaster. Thompson swapped back out again by the BS, which means he'll lose his life. But how much damage can Thompson do? Not a lot when you have Destiny walking right on top, and then the stun from Notel. Space is created. The arrows from Thompson fly thick and fast. There's still a 2-for-2 trade-off at the end of this, and Faces Void. He'll jump down, but Thompson jumps right along with it. Manasal at least break free of the time dilation. 3 heroes now down. Void has buyback, so does Keeper of the Light. ET not. But they want to come up and finish off this melee racks that the catapults are practically killed already.
Ego couldn't connect to this fight. The Shrine is down. He had nothing to TP on. So,
they get the racks at least, but Thompson, how deep are you? Hurricane Black went the wrong way, but then you have a little bit of extra help. The Gust and then the Blink down create some space. Jirax, as always, the savior of OG. Faith Beyond keeping the run going. Notel begins his TP. The stun available from ASD. He gets there in time. They even use the Yule Scepter to cancel off Notel. So he's dead again for a long period of time without buyback up.
There were a couple of really good plays in that. They blinding lighted the Pike of the Drow, so she stayed in base, but then the Curse was just as good and able to save Thompson and get him out of there. So good plays all around in that skirmish, or whatever you want to call it at this point. But I think the key in this game, honestly, in the last couple of fights, has been heroes unable to connect. We had one fight where on one side a hero couldn't connect, and this last fight Ego couldn't connect with the Timber Saw, couldn't get to his team. Maybe Boots of Travel level 2 is something worth looking into if the map is this difficult to play for them right now. But they have to be able to bring their big heroes to the fight. Like, they took a fight where their shrine used to be, but it's not there. It's an easy kill.
Got the solo kill on the Coddle. Yep. You talk about these critical kills. Keeper of the Light has been that man.
90 seconds. No buyback.
Mm-hmm. And that's so big when Roshan just came up and tops him. The damage output he has against this thing is ridiculously high. He can actually buy up his BKB as well if he has the extra insurance of the Aegis of the Immortal. And there goes Aegis Immortal in. He's holding the cash for the moment.
Double damage rune. Why not?
Sure. Just make it so. And then look towards the mid.
This defense is actually really difficult. Not having Coddle on your high ground is a big problem. They need that blinding light, they need the Ignis. I think the play for Ehome now is to try to catch the easy kills first. See if you can catch that Wyvern somehow, or if you can maybe... I think going on Sven loses you the game. It's not a big enough kill. You have to find someone else.
They're going to go for the beast. Chrono down the bottom lane. Seb's out of position, but the double stun from Notel. Seb is still down. Thompson blinks over. He's already taking care of the mid racks, so he comes over to be involved in the engagement. Notel once again, God Strength now up, trying to beat that front liner. He wants him to go on him, and that's where the curse comes in. Over on the Tiny, swap him out, and the Chrono Spear in the back line. It does actually catch out Beastmaster. He will not be able to get the roar off, or will he? He's surviving so long. No, the roar will not come off. Thompson, man, again trying to dodge, but failing to dodge that ET Stomp. But it may not matter if Ego can't get back into relative safety. Another quick silence. This one's over on the ET. The Avalanche with the extra stuff just buying some more time, but not enough. Down goes the ET. Beastmaster still the only one down to OG. They're trying to get the Megas up. Oh, I should say in their favor. Jump in, face beyond. He has no Chronosphere to use the next best thing for him, which is time dilation. But the studs, the ball is out. There's 3 heroes caught in this. OG, they're in a rough spot and they can't get back out. So BS using that BKB. I think he actually ended up getting it from the side, but now they just keep bouncing in. Is there more damage? Thompson pushes them away. That Avalanche didn't keep the chain stuns going, but that's why they have more of them. So much more of them. Thompson will finally fall. Why should go down as well. Colin Brace is not protected from the Chakram, and then VS will join them in the afterlife. All 5 players from OG are down. 2 have buyback, but Ehome are in recovery mode.
This item build on Tiny is super cool, actually. He has the Octarine Core and E-Blade, and with this Octarine Core and the Avalanche cooldown talent, he has Avalanche on a 3.75 second cooldown and a 1.8 second duration. He can spam this every fight. He's throwing avalanches out left and right, and if he gets chakra'd by Coddle, he even has 2 in a row instantly. This is really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this skill build before on Tiny. This is some new stuff, at least to me. And very creative way of playing around with the hero, and also want to commend Ehome in this fight on their item choices. They have 5 Ghost Scepters. They look at OG's lineup, they know it's all physical. If they can just stay alive, they're going to win the fight over time. They Ghost Scepter each. They have 4 Ghost Scepters and 1 E-Blade, so he can even help someone else, and they just blind them away, they force step around, they buy time. And OG, this looked really good. It looked like they might have ended the game. I don't blame them for trying to go for that, but Seb's positioning, getting caught twice in a row, was really the big problem there. Not getting a single roar out, not getting the book used.
I'm wondering how much damage Ehome can do. They're approaching the base right now. Spirit just got up, Sven will come back to the world of living, but they don't have the Vengeful Spirit, they don't have that big buff up in damage, not to mention the positional control that comes from the swaps.
How do OG start the fight is the question. They can't really go on the Timber because he has Ghost Scepter and...
To dare say the obvious, this is a Blink Beastmaster Raw. Like, whoever's out of position. I suppose when you don't have the Silver Edge, it can't just easily be the Timber Saw.
Yeah, I feel like they're...
to make Ehome back up.
They're not going to kill Timber if they open on him. I don't think so. Maybe if they do everything perfectly and Ehome are a bit out of position, but any counterplay from them, a Blinding Light, an Ignis, a Chrono, a Tiny Jump even, with these low cooldown avalanches should be enough to save the Timber. And OG have to be really careful with how they use this Drow, and their Venge BKB as well is pretty crucial. They have to find kills in their cooldowns or they just get kited.
Look at what's coming on the Courier for Innocence. You've got the Refresher Orb coming in, so the Will-O-Wisp will be doubled up in the fights if there is one good fight. We saw it from Ehome on bottom lane. when OG tried to go through into the tier 3 tower, and just what happens when you get a 3-man chronosphere when Wyvern Curse is wasted. It's all about getting the perfect intervals in that ultimate. Mid lane, Avalanche, toss combinations out, BKB, trigger from the Vengeful Spirit, trying to get away from the Wisp, and you will have Thompson pushed out of it, so there goes number 1. He's got
I don't think they realized there's a second.
It's down for the Yule Step, but face the point gun. So many damage, but ASD in through the backlines with a blink up. Here comes your secondary one. Thompson cannot be protected. He's too far outside the base. Push him up. Maybe not that far out. The aluminum will not be able to connect. He's now going to be finally brought down. Will he finally be brought down? Well, this battle now shifts its way towards the top. Buybacks are available. Thompson will now use his. But Ehome, they need to do more damage. They're chasing Thompson, the 3-man cup, creating space, blinding light from Innocence, pushing Thompson back into the engagement. And again, ASD, he's in the back lines. OG can't have any line. 2 players down, the stuns are out. If Thompson dies, that may just be OG losing this game. He pushes down and into the trees, back to the fountain. Thompson will be able to survive, but what is the cost? ILTV, he's now down to a triple kill for Ego. Ehome are inside the base. They're beginning their TPs out. ET will fall. Is there more stuns? The gust is up. Thompson, he wants to keep up the light. The Ghost Hunter once again causing them more trouble. They can't slow him down. Ego, he'll be able to push his way out. There was 1 tree for him to grab to, but Thompson stays with him. Now the buybacks are in. You've already got the ET there. Tiny looking for his own stun. Notel just wants to be the space creator. Back under the tier 3 tower. Another great blink from Thompson, avoiding this avalanche. But you know there's more where that came. Faith Beyond jumped in too. They'll move over towards Notel. How many heroes there without buyback? Make it 4, and they may just go for the GG push. They have to go through a tier 3 tower, but where is the creep wave? They don't have the damage just yet. The creep wave is coming in a second. It will buy some time for Sep to respawn. But Thompson, we know you've been pretty damn good before, but how good can you get now? They're moving forward. 3-4 heroes. Sep jumps out, looks at the Keeper of the Light, giving Thompson that high ground advantage. Sep moves over towards the tier 4 towers. They are ignoring Thompson, focusing on Sep. He's now down once again. Oh, there's a trouble up into the air, and that should be the game. Drone Rangers down. GG is the call. That game, it looked like OGs, it looked like Ehome, it looked like OGs again, then Ehome again. But at the end of the day, it's Ehome's.
That's probably the most exciting game we've had so far.
It has
across this group stage. That was really exciting. I think both teams with